Apologize that I'm late. My name is Joan Lubomirsky, and I was appointed by the city administrator to be a hearing officer in these administrative hearings for the Department of Public Works. We have several items on our agenda. The first item is at 9 o'clock for 980 Battery. Is that appellant here? Great, okay. What our procedure is that the Department of Public Works will be sworn in as a witness, and then they'll present their information, and then you'll be sworn in and present your information, and then we might have some informal discussion about how to solve the problem or handle it in the future or something like that. Make sure everybody's communicating, and then I'll issue my finding by mail. So if I could, the Department of Public Works, sir, if you could introduce yourself and be sworn in by the clerk.
Morning.
Morning.
Please state your name.
Supervisor Enyi Wamwo.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
And some photographs will be displayed there on the wall.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, it's on.
I mean, if they have them, sometimes we don't.
Thank you. Okay, on February 22nd, 2019, I was on a routine inspection of the 200 block of Pine Street. I then noticed cardboard boxes placed between a newspaper stand located on the corner of 200 Pine Street. Upon further investigation, the boxes had mailing labels identification, a mailing label identification of Elaine Taikongo of 98 Battery Street, Suite 600, San Francisco, California. 98 Battery Street is located about 150 feet away, diagonal from the newspaper stand where the dumping took place, and has been reported as a frequent illegal dumping location by the public. With evidence collected from the newspaper stand, I issued a citation for violation of Municipal Health Code 280 due to illegal dumping of refuse in a city street. This is the corner, the newspaper stands. This is the location of the boxes of 200 Pine. And that's 98 Battery Street. You can see the name a little blurry. It's Elaine Taikongo, San Francisco. I tried to actually access the building diagonally across the street to see if maybe there was some sort of mistake or something, so I could at least give a verbal warning. But I didn't know which sixth floor location to go to, so I issued as it is.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to come and be sworn in and provide testimony?
Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Nova Soderland.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge? Thank you.
Could I interrupt 1 second? I realize that I didn't call the item. Sorry. This is citation number 213803339 98 Battery Street. I'm sorry, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Nova, and I am here on behalf of our company, 98 Battery Associates, LLC, to request for a waiver of the violation.
I'm sorry?
To request for the waiver of the violation fee.
On what basis?
Because, like what Officer Supervisor said, on January 31st, a few empty boxes were found on the sidewalk of, I looked it up where the address is. It's 111 Battery Street. It's the corner across our building. One of the boxes had our street address on it, and we do not deny that it came from our company.
I'm sorry, and you?
We do not deny that it came from our company. Our office address is 98 Battery Street, Suite 600, and most of the time the people, when they're looking for it, they can find it because we're in the penthouse. So maybe that's why officer didn't find their office. But as I'm saying, we do not deny that it came from our building. However, we properly disposed of those boxes. We did not place them where they were found. Our company is a commercial landlord of a historical building, and we pride ourselves in taking extraordinary measure in keeping the sidewalks and areas in front of our building as clean as possible, given the tragic circumstances of chronic homelessness. Our building address is located 98 Battery Street, and as I said, it's located on the corner of Battery and Pine Street, where you will find Verizon Wireless and locally, and it's a retail tenant on the ground floor. Unfortunately, like so many areas in the area, our building is one of those places where homeless persons frequently take shelter at night and even as late as 8 a.m. when we're about to open for business. We are burdened with more expenses incurred due to keeping our sidewalks clean. We have hired a cleaning company for extra service just to clean the sidewalks every morning between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. That's from Monday to Saturday. Because of excessive garbage and human waste that is left behind by the homeless who spend the night in front of our building. Usually they leave garbage, where they sleep, and there also is a problem of illegal dumping in our corner, built in the corner of our building. And there are, during the day, homeless people would go through because there's a city garbage right at the corner, so they usually go through it and just dump it everywhere. When the volume of refuse gets to be too much for us to handle and to dispose of in our garbage recycling bins, we usually call 311 to help us collect all those empty boxes that didn't come from our building but from some other building. And I can show you some photos. So, sorry. So this is the maybe I have other photos. Usually, this is what we have in our front of our building. This is in front of Verizon Wireless. So usually they collect boxes from our garbage bins or blue bins during the night before Recology collects our garbage. And most of the times I call Recology to request for a missing garbage bin because they bring it somewhere. Even last Friday, somebody called our office and said they found one of our garbage bins on Pine Street. And when we looked for it, it's right on the location where they found the boxes with our name on it. So we, as I'm saying, we do not intentionally dump garbage just anywhere. And I also have some other. This is during the day when there are homeless panhandling in front of. This is on Battery side at the corner of Pine and Battery on the side of Verizon Wireless. So usually they will call our office to request for cleanup, and it's so hard when sometimes the homeless wouldn't leave, so we call non-emergency police assistance, and then they will help us ask them to leave. Here's another picture. This is since 2016 that it's been happening. Oh. That is every morning, right there by the corner, at the corner where the city garbage bin is. Another example of problem. So every morning, that's what we usually face, and not only our morning janitor takes care of it, even our guard, when he sees that they are scattered right in front of our front doors, he helps collect them, and when our morning maintenance guy, the daytime maintenance guy comes in, then he comes and clean up again after the morning janitor. So saying this, we would like to inform that we are very responsible in taking care of our trash and recyclables in the building. Our recology collection is from Tuesday to Saturday. We have 6 collection blue bins and 5 garbage. And most of the time, as I said, when we have not enough spaces in our blue bins because of the collection, we call 311 to collect them for us. So they will send recology. The excess boxes outside.
Has Recology given you another bin?
Yes, they usually do.
What time of day is your garbage collected on this case, a Saturday?
From Tuesday to Saturday.
What time of day?
During the night, they ask us to bring out the bins from between 9, it has to be out by 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
The city appreciates your cleaning your sidewalk and appreciates the difficulty that merchants and residents and visitors experience.
Yeah.
And is your suggestion that someone took this debris and out of your blue bin and put it?
Yes. I looked at some of our recording, but I couldn't print it out really clearly, but I can show you one. They would grow, here's one example. It's really not clear enough, so they would take it out from our blue bins and then bring it somewhere, or usually just right in front, because they use it as their bed for the night. We really don't mind them sleeping over, because we know it's hard for them to find shelter at night, especially when it's raining. But the problem is the garbage that they leave behind, and the feces, the urine, and other unpleasant
Of course.
things. Yeah.
Okay. And this is around the corner from your place of business, is that right?
Yes, our building is.
You can just explain it to me. I don't need
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm
Our
familiar with downtown, but it's a good
Sorry,
Battery
so-
and Pine.
Yeah, Battery and Pine, and then you would see Verizon Wireless at the corner, and there's a locally, and it's right across Tokyo Express and those Cafe
okay.
Med. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question about the other debris that were there other addresses of, is that?
That was the only one I was able to identify clearly. Other ones either didn't have a label or it could have belonged to any surrounding building.
Okay, I'm glad you checked. Now, typically, in my observation, if a homeless person has taken cardboard or something, they usually don't just pile it up there neatly like this was.
Now, I'll say this, there's a lot of groups who do cleaning around the area, so it's a possibility maybe someone was trying to be courteous, but at the same time, it could have come from the building and someone, it's kind of, we don't have a true, outside of the identification, we don't have an idea where it could have potentially originated from, but other than the label.
Has any other business found a way to deal with this? I've had other items come before me like this, where,
Typically, we were using lock service, where the garbage company comes inside and grabs your cans. That's usually has been it's been rolled out in certain neighborhoods, so maybe they're a potential option for them in the surrounding buildings.
is that available in this?
It would have to be, agreed upon for the building, and like they'd have to change their type of service, basically.
But that service is available
It
in
is
this
available.
neighborhood?
Yes, it is. You just would have to probably roll it out, with the proper information for the commercial.
Other than that, however, I mean, in your experience, have businesses like looked at sidewalks around their building? How would they have known that their item was there, around the corner?
Like now?
Yeah. No, I know, but
I mean, that's the only way through the
yeah.
mail.
I mean, you're out there, so
Yeah.
I'm asking,
And I
what
was
have you
act-
seen
I
that
was
worked?
actually I was called out to that neighborhood due to not only that, but some restaurants that weren't behaving properly. So it was pretty much an all-encompassing situation where I saw something and I followed through with further enforcement for other businesses around the area.
And that's worked
Yes. I mean, and it's,
reasonably well.
for the businesses that I was originally there for, yes, but this was pretty much additional.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
In terms of this lock box, is this something that you guys have considered?
Yeah, we used to have the lock for the bins.
Inside service, it's
Or
called.
inside service?
They would have to access the building somehow. I'm not sure how the building security situation is, and they would, after dumping the garbage, they would return it back, and you wouldn't have to worry about any lost cans again. They've been doing that in certain neighborhoods like the Tenderloin and a couple locations in Chinatown.
Would that work in your building? Are you set up so that Recology, they'd have a key, is that it?
Yeah, they usually have keys, and they do it
Yeah.
pretty frequently.
I think we will talk about it in the office because we don't have a loading dock, and our garbage bins are usually in the basement, and then the janitorial company just brings it out at night for
It
collection.
doesn't work for everybody, so it's,
Would it work if,
it just depends on their security situation and if they're comfortable with it or not. So it's a
okay. I'm sorry, did you say you
almost
used to have?
it's like a luxury type additional cost, so
Yeah,
just-
but on the other hand, it keeps your stuff
clean, yeah.
clean, yeah. I'm sorry, did you say you used to
Oh,
have this?
I thought the key means locking the garbage bins.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
this
sorry.
Inside
Okay.
service, sorry.
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
So you used to have inside service, or you used to?
No, we don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to explore that, they would need to call Recology?
Yeah, and probably get a quote and see if their building is actually accessible. Maybe they'll send a supervisor there, and then they'll figure out, is it worth the issues that they're having? So if it's a benefit, overall benefit.
It's an adaptation. It's not, it's
It's-
something I think that sometimes businesses need to do,
Exactly.
a different way of
Yeah.
handling this. Do you have any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll issue my finding by mail.
Thank you.
Okay, we're running a little bit behind, I apologize. Our next item is, there are two citations at 9:10, 213-76138 and 213-70649. 1549 Paloux is the appellant here. Sir, thank you. First, Public Works will be sworn in and making their presentation, and then you'll be sworn in and make yours. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning. Please
Good
state your
morning.
name for the record.
Sibylla Mann.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
The first citation issued September 14th, 2018, which is citation number 213-60649. On Friday, September 14th, 2018, I responded to a service request for litter and/or illegal dumping in front of 1552 Paloux Avenue. I arrived to find a number of bags in litter on the sidewalk. Upon further inspection, I found mail addressed to R.A. Smith at 1 1547 Paloux Avenue, a residential property across the street, as the bags and litter boxes were dumped on the public right-of-way a short distance from the residence. I issued a citation to R.A. Smith, also known as Rice and Smith, and the property owner, Jesse Powell, for violating Municipal Health Code 280. That's the litter in front of 1552 Paloux. The second citation issued on Friday, January 4th, 2019. Citation number 21375-138. On Friday, January 4th, at about 10:30, I responded to a complaint from residents and property owners that there was illegal dumping in front of 1552 Paloux. I inspected the area, and upon further inspection, I found mailings belonging to 1547 Paloux Avenue, which is across the street from this property. Here's the mailing that I found. Since I found mail and shipping labels belonging to 1547 Paloux Avenue, I issued a citation to property owner and refuse account holders for violating Municipal Health Code 280.
Thank you. Okay, the appellant, if you could come forward and be sworn in, please.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Please state your name for the record and speak into the microphone.
My name is Melvin Powell.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Powell.
Okay. About the citations, that was attended. That I ran out to Section 8, and that's their mill. And that saying is, I don't have no control of where they dump their garbage. I have my own garbage bin with everything that I pay monthly bill with Recology, so I would have no need to dump my trash across the street. So I'm just saying, and on top of that, I went down to Section 8, and they gave me a verification of the key release, and that was in August, but it's not the correct date because I guess the guy must have, because I bought the house off my sister, so I legally own the house or whatever, and I got paperwork of that also when I took over the house, and I took over the house, it was in April, but But this paperwork right here says that he turned the key in August, which it doesn't have my signature on there, it has my sister's. And my sister doesn't stay out here, so I don't know how is that possible. I went down to Section 8.
I'm sorry, do you live on the property also?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of garbage system do you, I'm sorry, were you finished, or can I?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What kind of a garbage system do you have in the house, in the building for your tenants?
Well, it's up to the tenants to order their own garbage can. I don't pay for that. I have my own bin with a lock on it, so nobody can't go in out my garbage and have a whole bunch of trash on the ground. So that's my personal bin, and that's my upstairs unit. They stay in the downstairs unit. So, you know, he was told that when he first moved there, that he would have to talk to Recology or whatever and get his own personal bin. So at that point, I don't know if he did or he didn't.
Do you have a copy of the lease or anything like that that would show that?
What's that?
Do you have evidence that the tenant was told they had to provide their own garbage
Well,
collection?
the thing was about this guy. He was already a tenant there when I took over the house.
Uh-huh.
It was my sister. You know, it was both of our house, but I bought her out. So she had moved him in. So I wouldn't have that.
So she didn't give you a copy of his lease?
No.
And there are two individuals here that are being, or there are two citations for the same property? Okay.
For the same tenant.
How do you suppose this happened then?
I guess he's dumping garbage. I mean, that's his meal. He's a grown man. I can't control a grown man and what he do and what he don't do.
How many units are in the building?
One.
I'm sorry?
One studio apartment.
But no, I mean, is it a multifamily building though?
It's a house with a studio in the garage area.
Okay, so you live in the main house and they live in a studio?
Correct.
I see, okay. Okay. Excuse me, do you have anything else to offer on any other information, please? Because unfortunately, it's not a law that one must have garbage picked up, but on the other hand.
Yes, it is. It is required by the City and County of San Francisco that all tenants and property owners have garbage service.
Oh.
It's it's an order that was passed many years ago, and Department of Public Health is order number 291.2. We will send a letter out when a tenant does not have service. In the case of this property, we're unaware that there is a second unit, so I do not know if the unit is legal or not. And anytime any refuse comes from a property, it is the property owner's or tenant's responsibility to provide service so that they have a place to put their garbage. Since there's a second unit at this property, it's clear that the person downstairs has no place to put their garbage, and they're putting it on the sidewalk across the street. Since the refuse is originating from 1547, it goes back to the property owner. I can confirm that refuse service is in the name of Jesse Powell, care of Melvin Powell Jr., with pickup on Tuesday. There is no record of a second unit. So therefore, the primary person holding the service can either increase their levels so that there's adequate service for both units at the property, or it is the property owner's responsibility to make sure that there is service, adequate service at his unit. Any refuse that originates from a property and is found in another part of San Francisco is a violation of Municipal Health Code 280 and is considered illegal dumping. Illegal dumping is anything that is put out without scheduled service. In this case, it was put out and placed on the sidewalk across the street. In this particular property, we get a lot of complaints from the people that live in the area. Because this house is empty, can you turn that on? Because this house is empty, there's fencing around it, this person is going through a permit process, there's constant illegal dumping. I have found mailing for the refuse in front of this property from 1547 Paloux Avenue multiple times. So,
Have they been cited before?
yes, they've received 2 citations. One citation was September 14th, 2018, and the next citation is January 4th, 2019. According to the history of the property, I have also issued warnings for the bins being out on a non-scheduled time on January 4th, 2019, the same day that the January 4th citation was issued. And the history for bins being out and other violations go back to 2015. So there was a citation issued in 2015 for illegal dumping. We sent a warning in September for garbage cans being out on an unscheduled time. Also and that would have been September 30th, 2015. We also issued a warning for October 15th, 2015. We've issued a warning on November 12th, 2015.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I understand.
So we spend, at Public Works, we spend a lot of time sending warnings before we send an actual citation. And in that, we do include information to educate property owners and tenants about what the code
And I know you always
law is.
provide a phone number and people can call and they can
Right.
get advice
Right,
and like that.
right.
Had the property owner availed himself of that in the past?
No,
Okay. I misspoke about the garbage pickup. I apologize.
okay, yeah. It's all properties in the city and county of San Francisco are required to have service unless the property is vacant. To confirm the property is vacant, we ask for old utility bills, or we'll do a site visit to confirm vacancy.
Does it happen that a property owner will have an agreement with a tenant that they they sign up for garbage pickup themselves?
They would need to, they can have a verbal agreement for that, but ultimately, the property owner is responsible
Well, I mean, I'd want to
make
see something
sure-
in writing. I mean, I'd want to have some
No,
legal.
that the tenant, if the tenant chooses not to initiate service.
Then it's the property owner's
The property
responsibility.
owner has to initiate
Right.
service.
Okay.
If service still is not initiated by the property owner, we will escalate to fining, citation, and/or refer it over to Department of Public Health, who will initiate service and have bins delivered from Recology and a bill sent.
Thank you. Mr. Powell, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not really, no.
Okay, great. Then, do you have any questions or any?
I mean, I'm saying even though I just took the house over in 2018, in April,
Please, sir.
Speak into the.
I just took the house over in 2018 in April. You know what I'm saying? They had an agreement. My understanding with the agreement was the guy was supposed to pay for his own garbage. He was already there when I took over the house
Okay,
fully. So that's about it.
I'll be issuing my finding by mail. Thank you very much. Okay. Our next item, the 920 item, is citation number 213-67019, 160 Ellis. Is the appellant here? Thank you. You missed my introduction earlier. My name's Joan Lubomirsky, and I was appointed by the city administrator to be a hearing on these administrative hearings for the Department of Public Works. What our procedure is that the Department of Public Works has already been sworn in, will provide information on the citation, and then you'd have an opportunity to provide any information you could have. We might have informal conversation, and then my finding will be issued by mail. So, thank you. Please.
Okay, I'm presenting for Daryl Dilworth, who's a street supervisor. On October 27th, while performing a routine inspection in District 6, Mr. Dilworth noticed a litter receptacle in front of 160 Ellis Street with a pile of cardboard placed right next to the toter. Since the pile of debris was placed right next to the establishment's litter receptacle, he issued a administrative citation amount of $150 for a violation of Municipal Health Code 283, and that's improper containerization. In this particular photo here, so we have the actual restaurant in yellow and the address. And this is the blue bin and the cardboard boxes not placed inside of the blue bin. And they're not bound, also they're not bound, because if you can't fit it in, you're supposed to bind them. This is the proof of this being their bin. And here's a closer photo of this particular bin in front of the restaurant. And as we said, this is another photo of it.
Thank you. Are you Mr. Day? Thank you.
ma'am.
Welcome. You be sworn in, please.
Good morning, sir. Please state your name for the record.
Ranjan Day.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are the oldest Indian restaurant in the city, 31 years in the same location.
Congratulations.
It's disgusting what is happening in the city. I am really appalled that I have to work until like 12 midnight and then be here at 9:20 because homeless people does this and there's nobody else to protect us. But there is full amount of protection for homeless people to do whatever they want. And then Public Works goes and gives us a citation. They can't do anything about the homeless. But here we are, wasting our time. But we are the one who are paying the tax so that all the facilities can be provided for the homeless people. So that whole situation, we put everything inside the bin, and then homeless people come and take it out and put it all over the place. And we don't have any recourse, except this is what we have started doing now, because this is one additional thing we have to do. So nowadays, what we are doing, let me show you this one first. This is from yesterday. Now we take a photograph after we put our garbage bin out, so that when I get a citation, I can show them a photograph. Look, my manager has to take one extra step. Why is the city not doing anything to protect people who pay taxes and does all the work? You know, my daughter's birthday was yesterday, 24 years. She was born here. The restaurant has been open 31 years. She asked me, will you be opening this restaurant here today? My answer is no. City should do something to protect us, the people who are paying, everybody here. You know, and that's a disgusting way. Last 4 or 5 years, it has gone down the drain. And the homeless people, the druggies, they have all the rights, except the people who are making a city where people are coming to enjoy. And that too is stopping. People don't want to come to the city. In 31 years, it's the lowest amount of tourists coming to the city, because you can't walk into the Union Street. People are shooting. Nobody's doing nothing about that. But we are getting citation for somebody else doing all this dirty work. So I am really, really, I don't know what to say.
I think the city shares your concern, and the city is making many efforts in this regard. And
I don't know. It's not enough.
I understand.
Not enough.
I-
The city is going down the drain. Nobody will be here. The homeless and the druggies will be here, but I will be walking out after 31 years.
Okay.
Here is another proof that this is what we are doing nowadays, taking photographs.
The city
So-
is making increased efforts, and but I fully appreciate what you're saying. So could you please remind me what time you put out your garbage?
About 10:30, our dining room closes.
PM, yeah.
Then we put it out just around 10:30-ish, and before I or my manager leaves, we'll take a photograph now.
How often does this happen?
Well, in
What-
31 years, I've got 2 citations, and that too last year.
So this is the one recently?
Yeah, this was last year in October.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, I'm being a little bit,
No,
But this is-
no,
this
this is
is-
your
I'm
opportunity to
suffering,
tell a
you know.
representative of the city your frustration. And I was born here. I totally understand.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Could I ask a question? Now, could this debris have been bundled, or was there any evidence of string around it or anything
From the
like that?
photo, no, I don't see any. But if it was bundled, usually it's either stacked within I think the 8 by 12 box.
Oh, they bundle it inside a box?
They bundle it, and they have it like stacked in a kind of order, some sort of order. You can tell if it's been bundled or not.
I
But-
probably do it wrong. I
Yeah.
put string on mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, do you want to come forward to the microphone, please?
So even last week, they took our blue bin. This is like every month, twice, they will take the bin. And now we have to wait for at least 7 days before we get a new bin. I was speaking to Ecology. They said every day they're actually dropping 300 bins. They're losing 300 bins. Now, why is that? Why is nobody doing nothing about that?
Is that something that's built
I mean,
into?
that's public work. They should be doing something about it instead of giving us the citation.
Services like that are typically built into the garbage rate for what
I
Recology
understand,
charges.
but it is just, why is the city losing 300 bins a day? That's a ridiculous amount of bins to be lost every day. Somebody is making money off of it.
The garbage rate is covering it, but I understand it's a legitimate question what you're asking. What is the history with this property in terms of citations?
It was just, I think, I'd have to look it up. Give me one moment.
We have only 2 citations in 31 years, I can tell you that. We can look it up. That to last year only, we started getting citation.
Thank you for checking.
So we have on record that I see right now from my tablet, we have a warning to add lock service and a citation for 150. And I can't see previous incidents because there's limitations on what the tablet shows you.
What does the ad lock?
So we can add a lock to our bin. That's $85 extra every month. And why should I be paying $85 extra every month if I'm doing my job and putting it out properly? That's why I have evidence now that I'm putting it out properly.
And that's the most recent one.
Okay.
That's the lock service was a was a.
Yeah, I actually initiated it. It is not a warning. I initiated it. I called the Recology and asked, what else can we do? Because, homeless people are taking away our, blue boxes, blue bins, sometimes they take even the green bins. And it's frustrating. I have to wait 7 days before I can get that bin back. What do I do? I mean, I'm creating all these bottles and other things every day. They said I can put it in a cardboard box and put it outside. Guess what? He's going to give me a citation if I put it out. In a brown, cardboard box. You think that's going to just stay there overnight? No.
Well, please appreciate that Public Works has a
I
difficult
do.
job, too. I know.
Please appreciate my position.
I
because
do.
I create all the tax money so that they can have all these things.
Of course.
But there's no service to protect us.
Okay, thank you. Has Public Works talked, is it true that it takes a week to get a new bin?
Depends on Recology's, how often deliveries, because it depends on them, because they're the ones who distribute them. We basically clean up after
Right.
city, pending on the issue. So
Who would be the person to contact Recology to ask about their,
you can pretty much start with their 1-800 number for Recology, as for getting certain information in relation to.
okay, well, I'll probably be in touch through the director about that, because
Okay.
if it could be,
I can try and find you.
would
a
you,
different
would you
number.
do that, please? I
Yes.
think if there's a way, I mean, they do charge for this.
Yes, they
It
do.
is built into the rate, and so it would be good if it could be, they wouldn't have to wait
Okay.
that long. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll be issuing anything further? Okay, I'll issue my finding by mail. Thank you for being here, and thank you, and congratulations on your longstanding business. Okay, our next item is 940. We're making up a little bit of time. It's citation number 21375809, 235 Bayshore Boulevard. Is that appellant here? Oh, it's going to be by telephone?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll all introduce ourselves when the phone comes on.
Oh, no. What's the next one?
We're doing the 9:30 hearing? Did I call the wrong one? I'm sorry. I called the wrong one. Oh, I'm sorry. 9:30 is going to be called, I'm sorry. Okay, so 9:30 is 213710833 386 Gary, and I apologize.
Oh, that's not.
I'm sorry, I skipped right over that item. I'm sorry. 386 Gary.
Calling in any minute.
All right, I'm reading for Public Information Officer Peachy.
Oh, excuse me, is the phone, have we called the? So we're not connected yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Are we having difficulty, should we call them back, or should we take the next item? How are we looking? So he says he's calling? Nathan, is anything happening?
You'll hear it right when they call because it's already. Connected to the computer.
Do you think we need to call the AV people? And I think, because if we need to get the AV people in to fix this, I'm tempted to take the next item.
Morning. David.
I'm sorry for the delay.
Unmute. Okay. Now it's muted. Okay. Hello. Okay. 554-9632. Okay.
No luck.
Yes. Okay. This is Nathan from 416.
I think I'd like to take the next item. Do we have any hope of talking to this person?
Cover the headset. Okay. Hello. Nope. Do you want me to unmute it?
I think I'd like to put this item over to the next meeting.
Just give me a minute. Yeah.
Give you a minute, okay.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Give me a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have faith in you. I have faith in you, Nathan, but not in technology. So, sometimes. Yeah, I think we need to put this over.
Yes.
I think we've tried. Okay? So if Public Works can inform what happened, that we'll have to reschedule
You hear
this.
me? Yes. Okay, do you understand? Okay, there you go. Go ahead, disconnect. Hang up your phone. Look, hang up your phone.
Can you hear me?
Okay, that's fine. That should be okay. Right.
Is this Mr. Rizzo?
Yes, I can barely hear you, but I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, thank you. My name's Joan Lubomirsky, and I was appointed by the city administrator to perform these administrative hearings for the Department of Public Works. The citation we're hearing is number 21371083, 386 Geary. And our procedure is that the Department of Public Works will present their information on the item, and then you may respond and provide information, and I'll issue my finding by mail. So if first I could ask the Department of Public Works, please. Can you hear me now, Mr. Rizzo, okay?
It's very, very faint, but I can hear you barely.
Okay, I'm glad we've been trying for some time to get through. I'm sorry, it's not working well. Okay.
That's okay. No, we'll get through it.
Okay, thank you. The Department of Public Works will give their report now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm reporting for Peachy Matthias, the Public Information Officer. On October 18, 2018, Public Works issued a notice of violation to both the account holder and the property owner, asking them to subscribe to Inside or Lock service. Public Works provided 15 days for compliance. On November 21st, 2018, Public Works followed up upon this notice as a scheduled reinspection. According to Recology, 386 Geary Street has not subscribed to Lock service or Inside service. Therefore, a citation was issued for the violation of Public Works Code 170B. Prior to the citation, Public Works issued notices of violation for Municipal Health Code 283, improper containerization, on March 28, 2017, and March 5, 2017, and on October 5, 2018. Public Works verified with Recology on 2/4/2019 and 3/7/2019 that this location has not started Lock service or Inside service. The account has been open since September 2012 under the same account holder. So a citation was issued out for violation of Public Works Code 170B
And it's for 386 Geary.
or 386
Okay.
Geary.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Rizzo, now we are going to, the clerk is going to swear you in, and then you can provide your comments.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to mention that in previous years, based on the condition of the trash on our streets, we did at one time subscribe to Lock service on our receptacles on the street, and we paid a premium to have that service in order to help mitigate some of the trash on the street and any kind of contamination happening from bin to bin, only for an unsuccessful time that the locks were picked and broken and the receptacles were turned upside down and the tops of them were broken off in order for people to get into the receptacles themselves. It is at that time, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, we made a determination that it was not cost prohibitive for us to keep considering paying a lock service and or inside service, which is a higher premium cost and cost prohibitive for us to do as an organization. So we've probably just done the best that we can do with pre-sorting our trash in our bins and putting it out in a timely way so that the trash collectors could have the best time to pick up our trash. So there was less time on the streets for people to go through the trash, and we continue to do so. But again, it is very, very difficult. I'm sure I am not the only company or organization that is going through this with regards to trash. And I submitted a couple of photographs to help visually see what kind of condition we do find on our trash and in our trash on a pretty regular basis. There's also an organization in the Union Square area where our building is located, and these are red vested representatives from the business improvement district that do come by on a semi-regular basis to help, again, pick up some of that loose trash. However, they don't put the trash into a receptacle that might be dedicated or designated for the type of trash they're picking up. They're just going to put it in whatever receptacle has room to put it in, therefore contaminating those bins. So at this point, this is where things are right now, and I'm not sure that, citing us for not being able to have 24/7 visuals and maintenance on the trash on the street is an appropriate way to mitigate the problem.
Have you or other businesses made an effort to work with the business improvement district for them to do their work differently?
Yes, we've had multiple meetings with Recology to come to the property and have a few meetings with the other businesses that operate within this building to train and teach staff members how to sort and how to place the trash in the receptacles, how to put it out onto the street, etc., so that we're doing our part as per request by them as well to say, can we come to your property and work with you guys to do so? So as a hotel operator, in the building, we've trained our staff, and the staff has been here for a dozen or so years, so they're pretty used to sorting the trash from inside before it goes outside. The food and beverage operators in the building also have spent numerous amount of time on trainings with Recology to do so.
Okay.
But again, I reiterate, as I say, as we do our part on the inside, by the time it gets to the street and sits, for a good 6 hours before trash collection times, there's a good window of time for, anyone else to go through the trash to do what they do on a regular basis. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
And yes, we do work with the BID.
BID, yeah, okay.
To touch base with them on a regular basis, because there are other things that come up beside the trash receptacles. There may be feces on the street. There may be
Understood.
needles nearby. There may be a homeless person sitting at our door front. So it's a bigger problem.
I understood. I have another question, though. Public Works has advised you to subscribe to lock or inside service. Now, as I understand, inside service involves a key that Recology would have to collect your items from inside your building?
Correct. That would be part of how the inside service works. However, that comes with a very, very premium price, which is almost double the amount of money for the cost of regular trash collection. All the bins, be it composting, be it recycling, be it just regular trash.
No, I understand. It's a business expense. I see that it would be an increase. I understand. But I was just asking if you had, that was an option?
It is offered as an option, yes.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Rizzo, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, not really, unless there's another question you have for me.
No, I don't. Is Public Works have anything to add? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rizzo. I will issue my finding by mail. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Citation number 213-75809, 235 Bayshore Boulevard. Is Jeff Arkle here? Thank you, sir. My name's Joan Lubomirsky. I think you heard I was appointed a hearing officer, Public Works, then I'll issue my finding by mail. Thank you.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Enos Harris.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
On Tuesday, December 31st, 2018, I re-inspected 235 Bayshore Boulevard to determine if the accumulation of litter identified and warned of during a prior inspection on December 5th of 2018 had been resolved, and found conditions actually appeared to have worsened. As the property owner was warned about the condition of the sidewalk and informed sidewalk maintenance was their responsibility, and still failed to clean, and the detritus on the sidewalk abutting their property was allowed to remain, I issued a citation for violating ordinance MPC 34. So these are some additional pictures that I took of the location when I re-inspected it. Let me see this one. Thank you. So it's just a pile of, thank you. A pile of waste. And that's all I have.
I'm sorry?
That's all I have.
Oh, okay. So how many photographs did you
I
have?
have 4.
Okay.
Oh, you just show all 4 at once? Okay. That's good. So these are the 4.
Okay,
And that's it.
thank you. And Mr. Arkell, if you could come forward and be sworn, please.
Good morning, sir. Please state your name for the record.
Jeff Arnke.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Please speak into the microphone, sir.
Thank you.
How's that?
Welcome.
Does that work? Okay. First, I would like to get a picture of the original.
Sure.
If I can,
So you want to see what I saw on December 8th?
yes.
Okay. It's going to take a minute to pull up.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, December 5th was the first day.
Yeah, well, we get them so often, I kind of lose track. This is the first time we did get a citation.
Okay, so
Okay.
this was on the 5th.
Okay, the bottom right one, where the reflection is there a way to zoom in on that a little?
The bottom right, this one?
Please. Okay, I don't see any debris on the Burger King side where your newer pictures are from. No, usually our tenant ends up cleaning them. He cleans
I'm sorry,
it
could you
every day.
speak into the mic?
Oh, no, our tenant cleans it every day. The second picture was taken on Christmas or New Year's Eve, which was a holiday, and the businesses were closed. We get numerous attacks on the property, more on the back regarding graffiti, even though that's not what this citation is for.
Yeah.
However, we are right on the edge of a drive-through, the pullout for Burger King, so we get people there begging for food. We get their garbage, and the tenants clean it within 2 days, and they paint the graffiti as quick as they can every time. This is the first time I actually got a citation. Usually I'll get a notice, which I appreciate, and we make sure it gets cleaned up. However, this one time we get a citation, and I appealed it. However, the tenant went ahead and paid it already, so this may be a moot point. But, I mean, you want to see pictures of trash we accumulate?
No, you
have
can
a
show
picture,
me if
yeah.
you want, but I will.
Right. But here's an example, just a quick example. This was sent to me last week by the city for trash.
This is by the main door. This way. Okay, I'm not really good at this. I thought these went out a long time ago. So I got that over the weekend. And that Monday, I went. The trash was here. The trash is gone. However, we have a new tenant on the corner, and right next to it is Burger King. That is not uncommon for that property at all. I have requested a couple suggestions on what to do, and all they do is send me back the basic, well, you know, you can have the building painted with graffiti and all that stuff, but I just get the generic answer. I never get a real positive feedback on the best situation to do. It's not our trash being redistributed. It's other people's trash that we have no control over. And it's, you know, the back of the building is just lined with RVs and encampments on the sidewalk, which makes it, but we never get anything about that, just the graffiti on the walls, where I don't believe my tenant would feel safe going out there, to be honest with you, and painting it while they're there.
Of course.
So once they get alleviated from the property, then they go ahead and paint it. And I tell them not to, you know. So, I mean, basically, I'm at wit's end, and I'm just here to,
I'm sorry, basically?
I'm at wit's end, and I'm
I
just here to
understand.
complain.
Okay.
And like I said, the tenant already paid the citation. I mean, I do appreciate getting the notices all the time, but I didn't like the fact that I got a citation for a pile of garbage that wasn't the same. And that's all I have to say, really.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else you'd care to add, or observations or advice?
Well, I mean,
Speak into the mic, please.
I just want to make sure that the issues are separate. So the citation that I issued was for the debris, not for the graffiti.
Oh, no, I understand.
Yeah, and, you know, the city, you know, we realize that it's definitely a challenge for, you know, people in some areas, especially when they're dealing with encampments and other issues, but still, the ordinance still remains that the owner and the sidewalk tenant is responsible for the cleanliness, which is what this citation is about. And it is true, on the first one, it was just a little bit of debris, which was the purpose of the warning. But then when I went back, it was a pile of things. I'm not sure what the cleaning schedule is, and I'm not even sure, I guess, December 31st, so it was yeah, so that was New Year's Eve, and maybe that was the reason. I don't know. Like I said, I was comparing when I went the first time, it wasn't.
Right.
A little bit. When I went back, it was a pretty big pile. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Very well. I'll be issuing my finding by mail. Thank you. Okay. This next item is citation 21370-520-385 Taylor Street. And then we have someone here on that. Okay. Our procedure will be that the Department of Public Works will make, then you. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning. So I'm reading for Daryl Dilworth. On Saturday, November 17, 2018, while performing a routine inspection in District 6, Daryl found a pile of cardboard boxes dumped on the sidewalk approximately 1 block away from 385 Taylor Street. Upon further inspection, he found labels attached to the flattened cardboard with the exact same address, possibly identifying this establishment as the violator. Be advised that this property had been most recently warned for the same violation on November 9th, 2017. As the pile of cardboard was dumped on the public right-of-way, a block away from the business, and the established history of this property illegally dumping items on the city streets, he issued a citation to the business owner and property owner for violating MHC 28 in the amount of $250. I'm assuming that is a typo, and it should be 280, yes, MHC 280. So from November 18th, these are the photos that were submitted. Okay.
Does that conclude your report? Yes. Thank you, sir. If you can come forward, please, and state your name and be sworn in, please.
Good morning.
Morning. Please state your name for the record, sir.
My name is Sumit Bhatia.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, were you the appellant?
The restaurant owner is Yutana City Probate, and I'm the manager, so he sent me here.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, looking at these pictures, I wouldn't deny that the boxes were from my place, but not the whole box. It's just the one box which is labeled as a Nariwit. That's from our restaurant, and basically we do have a problem over there. We are located on Taylor Street, and the cross street is O'Farrell. And at night, it's very dark out there because we are the only place closing at like about 10:30, and there's no one out there. So except for homeless people walking here and there, we do have problems where we put our bins outside, and sometimes the worst case was they get flipped over. So my main point was that we put our trash outside and it gets moved to places where, how can I control that? So, and the citation, it was given for this box, it was found on Mason and Ellis, which is like 2 blocks from our place, and it was in front of a restaurant. So there's no way I would be carrying those pile of trash and discarding it, walking 2 blocks to discard it over there. Yeah, that's just I wanted to add that I couldn't control people moving things from our trash to other places.
Okay, thank you. Anything further?
Well, I just wanted, just based on the pictures here, the assumption is that this box that was labeled was broken down inside of the other boxes, which probably didn't have a label, which kind of indicate that it may have come from the same place.
Were there any other labels from no other addresses were on any of the papers that you saw?
I cannot answer that because I'm reading for Daryl
Right.
Dilworth. Yes. So all I have is the narrative that he provided, which say that the boxes were approximately a block away.
Yeah, what's curious to me is they're so nicely wrapped up together.
Well, that's what happens. Is you break them down and you put them out, and usually they put these out in this manner, typically for the illegal card, for the trucks that recycle illegally. They'll just come by and pick them all up.
Right.
A lot of times that happens. But again, this was identified, and likely it was in the box with the rest of the boxes. So.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I'll issue my finding by mail. Thank you. Okay, next item is SR number 210-1708, 4502 3rd Street. It's a hardship hearing.
There's going to be a
It's a phone call,
teleconference.
10 o'clock, okay. So we're calling them, or they're calling us? Okay.
It's not my typical PowerPoint.
Okay, okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, this is Chris Fleming calling from Houston, Texas.
Great. Can you hear us well, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joan Lubomirsky, and I'm appointed a hearing officer by the city administrator for administrative hearings for the Department of Public Works. What our procedure will be is the Department of Public Works will make their presentation, and then, I'm sorry, are you Chris Fleming?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. And then, Mr. Fleming, you will state your information. We might have some discussion, and then I will issue my finding by mail. So
Okay.
first-
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So if I can ask the Department of Public Works to be sworn in, please.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Alicia Witt.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witt.
So this case is a little different. The owner requested for a hardship hearing, in which you have a copy of what he sent in. I think it was his PowerPoint, which is a copy that I have here also. So this case is a little different because he requested a hardship hearing. I only have in my records 2 times in which the property was actually posted a notice of violation, and actually it was a blight notice. So in the block lot history report, which I have here, I have 2 times in which the property was posted. Once was on 2/15/2018, and the other was on 2/27/2018. This was for a blight and not a hardship hearing. So typically with a hardship hearing, we will allow the property owner up to 30 days to contact us if they are requesting a hardship hearing. In this case, this is something from last year. So, and this was a blight. So this is something that he would have to have requested to have a blight hearing. So I do have photos of the last time the property was posted a blight, but I do know the property owner wanted to have a hardship hearing in which I am unable to fully give him the hearing because it has been a year ago. It was a year ago when the last time the property was posted for blight, and I would have had to given him a blight hearing. But I do know he wants to be heard regarding the PowerPoint that he sent in to Public Works, and that's why I am here today with his PowerPoint and also with the information and block lot history showing the 15-day blight notice that was posted on the property in February of last year.
Well, my question is, though, is this correctly agendized? Is this something we can act on, or have deadlines passed?
I gave this PowerPoint to my deputy director along with the photos of the last time the property was posted for blight and also with the block lot history information to see if this is something that we could grant hardship for prior. But in this case, it's not because they've only had 2 prior cases and there were blight hearings and not hardship hearings. So he didn't see that there was consistency with the amount of times that this person's property was posted blight or even a notice of violation. So if it's a notice of violation, they have 30 days to send in the letter to City Hall. If it's a blight notice, they have 15 days to request a blight hearing. So this case, like I said, is a little different because this is something that is a year old when it comes to the records of what we have at Public Works. Now, what he's showing in these photos could possibly be other dates that may have been more recent, but for our records, we don't have anything dating back or any more recent photos. The last time they were posted was on February 27th, 2018.
So you don't have any recent notices?
I do not have any recent notices. I do not have anything open for that property, whether it's a blight or it's a notice of violation.
Okay. Could I see the documents that you have there? Thank you. Ms. Witt, anything else to add at this point?
No.
Okay. Mr. Fleming, would you like to?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to
excuse
proceed now?
I'm sorry, one thing, Mr. Fleming. Could I ask you
Yes.
to be sworn in by our clerk?
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Christopher Fleming.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you,
Right hand raised.
do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Right, thank you. Ms. Lumersky, distinguished DPW staff, and public participants. We are requesting this graffiti abatement hardship hearing due to the fact that we're out of the state, and as you can see from the slides we're going to show, we have had recent events beyond what Ms. Witt discussed earlier in her presentation, and we'll go through that now. So on the first slide here, now we'll please go to slide number 2.
Okay.
Okay, this all began in April of 2015. My wife Cynthia and I had a plan to close the Save More Market liquor store and put a computer learning center for kids in the Bayview because these kind of opportunities are lacking. And we know that liquor stores are an impediment to progress. You got a lot of problems, I know, with DPW with illegal dumping and cleanup in these vicinities. But anyway, we moved forward with that. We got the support of the honorable former supervisor, Malia Cohen. The late Ed Lee was a champion of this project, as well as Tony Williamson, vice president at Swinnerton Builders, I believe. And both of them passed away, unfortunately, and that affected the velocity and the trajectory of the program. But we evicted the liquor store all legally without any problems, but they wouldn't leave. So finally, after we negotiated with them, they left. And then after they left, vandalism on the property began. So let's go to slide number 3, please. Okay. First vandalism attack occurred on a security camera. Now, I don't know if you can take your mouse and hover over the picture there. If you can do that, you'll see a control mechanism, and you can actually run the video there. Are you able to do that?
Yes, it's playing.
Okay.
The video is playing now?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're going to see is the destruction of a security camera we put out there for the building. And there's an individual that walks up, and then seconds after that person walked up with that broom or whatever it was, they destroyed the camera. And so anyway, that's the first act. Okay, so let's go to slide number 4, please. Okay, this is one of the attacks that Ms. Witt was discussing. This was in February of 2018. I apologize wholeheartedly for the language you see on the screen, but
That's
this
okay.
is characteristic of the people that are attacking us with their graffiti. So this was the first graffiti attack, and we took care of that. We got the notice late because we're in Texas, and our mail was forwarded, but we got there in time to take care of the abatement, and as you can see, we had just finished on the right there, cleaning up the paint after this happened.
Right.
Okay, let's go to slide number 5. Okay, this is a concern we have. This is the posting of the graffiti abatement sign. This is customary. Public Works to do this. They can't find anybody on the location. In our case, there was nobody on location, either upstairs or downstairs, because the building was vacant. Our concern is that if the building is hit with graffiti and you put this on the building, that our home address where we live in San Leandro is right on there, so the thugs and vandals now have access to our home address. We don't think that's fair, and it's a security concern to us. So if we're not granted a hardship case, we would like to request that no posting be put on the building, but that you contact us by phone or email and let us know that somebody's hit the building. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to slide number 6. Okay, this is the second graffiti attack. This happened March 2018. Once again, I apologize for the language you see on the screen, but this is characteristic of the people doing this. On one, they're using the F Trump. The other is there's some genitalia on there on the other side of the building. This is characteristic of what they did. And they did a recent attack that is very recent, and you'll see that in the next slide. This business about Trump and all this is more of a deflection. We don't have anything to do with Trump. We don't. This is not politics. What this is retaliation for closing that store. Okay, let's go to the slide number 7, please. In March of last year, again, while I was preparing the building for sale, my tire was slashed right outside the building there. and I had to get AAA to come and replace it with a spare tire until I could get back home and put a new tire on. Let's go to slide number 8. Okay, this is the most recent attack. Now, this occurred in February, and this is why this hearing I thought was being generated, because this just happened last month. Once again, the same language. I apologize for what you're seeing, and a picture of genitalia on there. This is characteristic of the attacker. We cleaned this up. Now, what's interesting about this is that the security camera, I just happened to be in California when this happened to take care of some things, and I saw this on the security camera and reviewing the footage, so I raced over there and got a guy to help me, and we cleaned the building up. 15 minutes after we got there, the Department of Public Works paint crew was on site saying that they had to respond because this objectionable stuff was on the building, and they said we were fortunate to have covered it up, otherwise they would have painted it and charged us for it. That's one of the reasons that we're asking for this special consideration here. We reported this to the police. The case number is there. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, this is another reason we want some consideration here from DPW, and I'd like to ask you to consider our case. The Department of Public Works initiated a program to clean up several neighborhoods and to stop illegal dumping. This has been an initiative that the city is trying to move forward with to clean up neighborhoods around corners and vacant lots where people are dumping. We have a particular problem here. This really took off after the liquor store was closed. So if you will hover the mouse over the last picture on the right there, you'll see a start button, and you can hit that, and you'll actually see the individual that dumped the stuff next to the public garbage can there. And we offered this footage to DPW so that a citation could be issued to the place with the people who did this. He dumps a tire and a bag of garbage. This is going on continuously all the time. So shortly after we gave this footage to DPW, we had windows broken. We had 2 windows broken. One of the windows is there on the far left. You can see the smashed window. And we've never had a window broken, but that happened right after we provided footage to DPW. I'd like to ask Mr. Simon if he can now also show a picture of paint vandalism that we have. If you could show that. We have a disturbed woman that keeps coming by and dumping paint around the tree there. You see there's a city tree that was planted when the Muni light rail system was put in. This individual dumps paint everywhere. You can take a look at that and then let me know when it's finished.
I'm watching it right now. Thank you. And she's walking away. Okay. That's finished.
Okay, so you've seen that clip. This is continually happening. I reached out with the suggestion of DPW to talk to Mr. Chris Buck, who's an urban forester. He came by and documented what is going on, and he is working behind the scenes on this. I think some other people are working behind the scenes. But this kind of destruction of vandalism and paint dumping is what we're facing. We are in Houston, Texas, helping our daughter who was in a bad car accident. So, which is not her fault, not that that matters, but a guy ran a stop sign at high speed and smashed her car up and hurt her. Anyway, so we can go on to slide number 10. So this is our closing appeal here. We respectfully request approval of our hardship case because we remain out of state at this time assisting our daughter with her recovery from the auto accident. We have a gallon of the field paint, the Kelly Moore lemongrass, that we will be happy to supply to DPW graffiti abatement crew to assist in the process of abatement of graffiti violations on our property in our absence. And below that is a list of DPW personnel that we have contacted to deal with the situation of the illegal graffiti, the illegal dumping on the property, and also the illegal dumping of paint. So I understand from Ms. Witt's presentation that according to the rules that you go by, we may be considered outside of the parameter of what you guys do, but we're asking for special consideration here because we're not back there. And when people attack the building, there really isn't anything we can do. And we don't get notices if they're mailed for some time because our mail is forwarded to us. So, and then we also ask, please don't put anything on the building. If you don't want to help us with the hardship, don't post anything on the building with our home address on it. And we'll be happy to take any questions that you have, and appreciate your listening to us and giving us some time to make our presentation.
Thank you. I have a question in terms of timing, that responses would have been due more quickly than now. What was the difficulty in making your hardship appeal earlier?
I was not aware that we had the ability to make a hardship.
Well, or to make, Ms. Witt?
So typically, a letter is mailed out with the information on how to request a hardship. So it usually goes out the same day of the notice being posted on the property. We send it regular mail. So if it was a 30-day notice, we would send it the same day. And I'm sure now you're in Texas, so it could take a week, week and a half, whatever the case may be. I do know with your case, it was a 15-day, or I should say a blight notice posted initially and not a 30-day notice. It was a blight notice. So typically that comes from BSM. They mail out those letters to the property owner. So it usually, well, it has that information on the letter if you receive the letter. And I also have office staff that would either give you a call or send you an email to give you heads up that the property was posted for having graffiti. So those are the things and the steps that we take in the office.
So an email was sent?
Yes, we received the letter, but like I said, it was after the fact that, because our mail is delayed. Sometimes we don't get it for 2 weeks. And that's just the way it is with the premium forwarding service. But, when we saw this, we immediately acted. As soon as I saw this, I acted, and I was able to clean it up. So we didn't get fined or anything like that. But our concern is we're not there. So, if somebody hits the building, and let me give an example. The last graffiti that we just had put on the building, the orange one with all that stuff you just saw, that just happened last month. Now, because of the response time, because of the public outrage over what was on our building, if I wasn't there and hadn't seen that, DPW would have painted over it and sent us a bill. And that's not fair because we're not there to address that. The public was rightfully outraged at what they saw in the building. The concern is, you can send us a letter about that, but it's too late. If you send a DPW paint crew out there to clean it up because it's so outrageous what's on the side of our building, there's no time we don't have time to I get on a plane and fly back, but, it's difficult. That's why we're asking for hardship. We're ready to supply the paint, for the DPW paint crew, but in that case, that day where there was outrage about that statement about Trump on the page, on the building, then, you guys had to respond because the public was outraged. I don't have that kind of a time. I can't respond as quickly as DPW.
Mr. Fleming, do you have a building manager?
No, I don't have a building manager. The building's vacant.
Absentee landlords are not uncommon in San Francisco. Frequently, people live in other countries and invest in property here, and they are obligated to take care of their property for graffiti or garbage or whatever it might be. Have you considered making arrangements for a building manager or someone to check on your property periodically?
Yeah, that's something we could do. We could look into that. But we're preparing the building for sale now, and without getting into too much detail, there's a criminal aspect of this that really needs to be addressed. We helped DPW out, with the illegal dumping. We supplied footage, and the response to that, our windows were broken. So, we had to get we had to take care of that ourselves, but that's the risk that you take when you sometimes try to do the right thing for the city. We know the risk that we're taking, but we try to make it a better corner there for the children in the neighborhood, closing the liquor store, and the response was broken windows, constant graffiti, and a woman dumping paint out there. The paint never was dumped out there on a weekly basis until the liquor store was closed. So this is what we're dealing with. Even if we had a building manager, the possibility that, that somebody put something on the building that is severely objectionable, I don't know that the building manager could clean it up that fast.
Well, actually, in other instances, I've had building managers testify before me that they keep paint on the site and that they employ someone to come and paint the next day.
Understood, but as I said, the last graffiti attack last month in February, a DPW crew was on site, 15 minutes after we got there, because they were gonna paint over it and they were gonna send us a bill. So, I don't know that could happen. Even if you had a building manager, I don't know that the building manager could react that quickly. See, there's no notice. Nobody calls us and says to us, we never received a phone call. There was no posting on the building because there was no violation. There would have been a violation letter sent to us. Hey, we had to paint over your building because this objectionable material was on the building. But that would have been after the fact. So even if you have a building manager, they may not be able to react quickly enough. And that's luckily, we were there. I was in California at the time this happened. So that's where we are right now.
Okay.
So typically, just one moment,
Sure,
please.
Ms. Webb.
So typically, if your property was posted a notice of violation or posted a blight notice, anything that Public Works does if they remove the graffiti from the property because of the language that is on the property, that's something that will be done as a courtesy. Now, if there was a notice of violation that's posted on the property and it has expired, meaning that the graffiti was not addressed and abated prior to the abatement due date, then if Public Works comes out to remove the graffiti, then in that case, yes, you will be billed. But because there is no notice of violation posted, there wasn't a current blight notice posted, if Public Works comes to the property to remove whatever the graffiti is on the property, that is something that they are doing as a courtesy, and you will not be held accountable for that or responsible for any fees. Now, there was a time in January that I did drive past the property. We have laborers that drive up and down 3rd Street. They are assigned to different zones. So their responsibility is to check for, the illegal dumping, the graffiti, and different things like that. So I drove in January, and I did spot some graffiti on the property with foul, language, and I did have Public Works go to the property and remove the graffiti, and that was something that was done as a courtesy because we did not have any active notice of violations opened or any blight notices that were opened for your building. So because we've only had 2 cases that were actually reported and we had to go to the property and post a notice of violation, that's kind of what's been going on with the property.
Well, thank you for that. That's great. Okay, Mr. Fleming, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nothing else. The only question is it possible if your paint crew, makes its round, does its rounds on the corners and streets, if I gave them a can of paint, and I thank you, Ms. Witt, for painting over, and I think I know what you're talking about, because when we went over to the building, there was a gray color paint on there, and that may be the paint that your crew used. But I'm happy to supply paint in the proper color for the crew if they can keep it on their truck, and if there's something objectionable that they have to take care of as a courtesy, we'd be happy to supply the field color there if that works out for you guys.
So we cannot accept paint from the property owner because when it comes to their zones and their area of work, it's typically that they remove the graffiti off of off of public property. In your case, I believe we already have that color. They wouldn't have painted it gray. So, or they would have had to come up with something else regarding that, possibly steaming it off if they didn't have a color that was close to it. But no, we can't accept any paint, from the property owner, because this is not something that they're going to continue to abate. So this is something under our article and ordinance that we have to hold the property owner responsible for removing the graffiti from the property. So their supervisor would not allow them to continuously remove graffiti from a property. It's on the property owner.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Fleming, I'll issue my finding by mail. Do we have a proper address to which to send that?
Yes, the address is in the city records. It'll be forwarded to us if you send it to our home address. If you look in the assessor's office,
Okay.
the official block, with the block number and our home address.
Okay.
You don't send it to 4500, 4502 3rd Street. And I'm not sure if you made your mind up, ma'am, but I would like to ask that if the building is hit with graffiti, please do not post an abatement sign on the building. Send it to us in the mail, because that way our security of our home property remains intact, and we won't have the people that are doing this come to our house and our home and attack it as well. I understand the meaning and the reason for posting it. It's an official posting. The problem is, since there's nobody there, they rip it off, and if they take it off and run with it, they've got our address, plus the posting is never seen by us, because we're not there. So as you make your decision, if you don't decide for us, we just ask if you could please consider contacting us through email or through a letter saying, hey, your building's been hit by graffiti, you need to clean it up and abate it. We'll be happy to do that.
I'll certainly pass that information along. Certain requirements are set by code, and we would have to check and see what the rules and regulations and legal requirements are. But I will pass along that information.
Thank you very much,
Thank
and we
you.
appreciate your consideration of our appeal.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Okay. I have his materials, though, so I should
Okay.
get these back to you.
No, you can keep it if you need it, because
No. No, I don't
Okay.
need it. Okay, our next item is SR 22243, thank you, 4395102 Fillmore. Is this by telephone also?
So with 102 Fillmore, we received the letter requesting for hardship due to the hardship letter that was sent regarding the property owner and the disability and issues that he is having regarding his own self. I went ahead and talked to my deputy director to see if we can go ahead and get this courtesy abated, only because it's on the sidewalk. So I do know this is something that can be challenging, and he did approve that.
That's good news. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Okay, with that, our meeting is finally adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.